Hey, I'm Olivia, and I thought I knew what loneliness felt like until my husband Ethan left for a week-long business trip, leaving me rattling around our quiet suburban home near Chicago. The silence was suffocating, pressing in on me like a heavy fog, until his closest friends, guys I've always seen as family, showed up to help with some long-overdue house projects. Laughter filled the air again, their familiar voices chasing away the emptiness, and for a moment I felt alive. But as the night wore on, an unspoken tension crept into the room, a dangerous spark igniting in the spaces between us. What started as innocent camaraderie twisted into something I never saw coming, a secret so dark it could shatter everything I hold dear. How did one night spiral so far out of control? Picture this. I'm standing at the edge of my living room, staring at a scuff mark on the hardwood floor that's been bugging me for weeks, and I can't help but wonder how something so small can feel like such a big deal. My name's Olivia, I'm 24, and this quiet little 2-story house just outside Chicago is my world, mine and Ethan's, my husband of 2 years. He's 27, a marketing consultant who's always on the move, chasing the next big project. Right now, he's been gone for a week on a business trip to New York, and the silence in this place is heavier than the old oak dresser I've been itching to move upstairs. I work part-time as a freelance graphic designer, which means I'm home a lot, sketching logos and tweaking layouts while the walls seem to close in around me. When Ethan's away, it's just me and the echo of my own voice. I'll mutter to myself about random things, grocery lists, design ideas, just to break the stillness. It's pathetic, I know, but it's better than nothing. Our house is cozy, nestled in a sleepy suburban neighborhood, where the biggest excitement is the neighbor's dog barking at squirrels. But without Ethan, it feels like a shell. The living room couch sits there, unmoved, even though I've been dying to rearrange the space, maybe push it against the window for a better view of the street. Upstairs, our bedroom could use a refresh too, but that heavy bed frame isn't budging without help. I've tried, believe me, but I end up just laughing at myself, sweaty and defeated. These little projects have become my obsession lately, a way to fill the empty hours. But they're impossible solo, and I've been too stubborn to ask for help until now. Ethan's got this tight-knit crew of friends, 5 guys who've been in his life since college, and by extension mine. They're like the brothers I never had, always around for barbecues in our tiny backyard or game nights that stretch past midnight. There's Jake, 28, a mechanic with a laugh that could wake the dead and hands that can fix anything from a busted car to a leaky faucet. Then there's Ryan, 26, a software developer who's got a sarcastic quip for every situation, always keeping us on our toes. Caleb, 25, is a personal trainer, all charm and boundless energy, with a smile that could melt ice. Marcus, 29, is the quiet one, an accountant who thinks before he speaks, but when he does, it's always worth listening. And finally, Tyler, 27, a bartender who brings the party wherever he goes, full of stories and charisma. I've known them for years through Ethan, and they've become family to me too. Whenever they're over, this house feels alive again. So, when Jake texted me yesterday, asking if I needed help with anything while Ethan was away, I didn't hesitate to say yes. I'd been wrestling with the idea of moving furniture around for days, and I knew I couldn't do it alone. So here I am, glancing at the clock as it ticks closer to 7 p.m., the house still quiet but buzzing with my anticipation. I've got some mellow indie tunes playing through the speakers, filling the empty space with a soft rhythm when the doorbell chimes. My heart does a little jump. I've been craving company, and now it's here. I rush to the door, smoothing my hair back, and swing it open to see the whole crew standing there on my porch, their faces lit up with grins and that familiar, easy energy. Jake's at the front, holding a toolbox in one hand, giving me a playful smirk as he says he's ready to fix anything that's broken. Ryan's right behind him, already rolling his eyes at the music drifting out from the living room, teasing me about my hipster playlist and how I need to upgrade my taste. Caleb's flexing his arms with a laugh, asking if there's anything heavy that needs lifting, while Marcus steps forward with his usual calm demeanor, offering a quiet nod and pulling me into a warm, brotherly hug. Tyler's at the back, holding up a 6-pack of craft beer with a cheeky grin, promising we'll crack them open once the work's done. Their voices overlap in a chaotic, comforting way, and just like that, the house feels alive again, bursting with their presence. We pile into the kitchen, the smell of fresh pizza wafting from the boxes I ordered earlier. We dig in, standing around the counter, grease on our fingers, laughing over slices as old stories about Ethan start spilling out. I'm leaning against the sink, listening as Tyler recounts the time he and Ethan tried to cook a gourmet meal in their college dorm, only to set off the fire alarm with a pan of burnt bacon. The whole building had to evacuate, and Ethan swore he'd never touch a stove again. Jake chimes in with how Ethan still managed to charm the RA out of giving them a fine, and we're all cracking up, the kind of laughter that makes your sides ache. These memories, these shared pieces of Ethan's past, make me feel closer to him, even though he's miles away. Once the pizza's gone, we wipe our hands and get down to business. The living room's first on the list, and it's a mess of effort and teamwork. Jake and Caleb grab opposite ends of the heavy oak couch, grunting as they haul it across the room to the spot by the window I've been picturing for weeks. Their muscles strain under the weight, and I can't help but admire how easily they make it look. Ryan and I tackle a wobbly bookshelf, struggling to keep it steady as we drag it to the corner. He's tossing out terrible puns the whole time, saying we're shelving our problems, and I groan through my laughter, shaking my head at Ryan's terrible humor. Hours pass in a blur of sweat and determination as we rearrange the house piece by piece. By the time the clock ticks past 1:30 a.m., we're all utterly spent, muscles aching from dragging furniture up and down stairs. My living room looks like a new space, but it's still cluttered with empty boxes and scattered tools. We're too tired to stand, let alone clean up right now. I suggest we take a breather before they head home, just a quick rest to recharge. Since the downstairs is a mess, we trudge upstairs, our footsteps heavy on the creaky steps, and end up in the master bedroom. There's nowhere else to sit, so we pile onto the king-sized bed, collapsing in a heap of exhaustion. The scene feels almost surreal in the dim glow of a single bedside lamp, its soft light casting long, gentle shadows across the room. The bed groans under our combined weight, the frame protesting as we settle in. I'm in the middle, squeezed between Jake and Caleb on my left, Ryan and Tyler on my right, with Marcus perched at the foot of the bed, his long legs dangling off the edge. We're packed in tight. Too tight, honestly. Our shoulders brushing against each other, legs pressed together in the cramped space. The air carries the faint scent of sweat, mixed with the lingering bitterness of the beers we cracked open earlier, and our heavy breathing fills the quiet as we try to catch our breath. It's awkward at first, this closeness, and I let out a nervous laugh, joking that we look like a can of sardines all squished together. No one laughs back, though, and no one moves away either. The silence that follows feels heavier than the furniture we just hauled. We start talking, keeping it light at first, reminiscing about old times, nights spent playing cards until dawn, or that one camping trip where we got lost for hours. But there's something else in the air, an undercurrent of tension I can't quite name. It's like the room is holding its breath, waiting for something to shift. Then, out of nowhere, Jake, sitting to my left, lets his arm slide around my waist, casual as if it's nothing, while he cracks a joke about keeping me warm since Ethan's not here. My whole body freezes, my heart slamming against my ribs. I don't know what to say, don't know if I should push him away or laugh it off. Before I can even process it, Ryan, on my right, leans in close, his breath warm against my skin, and presses a soft kiss to my cheek. His voice is low, almost a whisper, as he murmurs that I've always been too good for Ethan, that I deserve more. My mind spins, a whirlwind of shock and confusion, but the late hour and the warmth of their closeness wrap around me like a fog, clouding everything. I know this is wrong. Ethan's face flashes in my mind, his crooked smile, the way he always holds my hand when we walk. I should stop this, should stand up and tell them to leave. But there's this ache inside me, a loneliness that's been gnawing at me for days, maybe weeks. The adrenaline of the moment, the heat of their nearness. It all mixes into something I can't fight. My breath catches as Caleb's hand brushes mine, his fingers lingering just a little too long, sending a jolt through me. Tyler's voice cuts through the haze, low and suggestive, whispering something about how we could make the night unforgettable. I glance at Marcus, expecting him to say something, to be the voice of reason, but he just watches from the foot of the bed, his expression unreadable, his silence louder than words. He doesn't stop it. None of them do. And then, in a moment of weakness, I let go. I let myself fall into the current, crossing a line I never thought I'd even approach. It's like I'm outside myself, watching as boundaries dissolve in the heat of the moment. I won't paint the details, but imagine a storm of emotion, guilt crashing over me like waves, mixed with a surreal, here I am, lying in the tangled mess of sheets, the weight of what just happened pressing down on me heavier than the bodies still around me. It's around 3 a.m. now, and the dim glow of the bedside lamp feels like a harsh spotlight, cutting through the haze and exposing every raw edge of our guilt. We're all still on the bed, sprawled out in awkward positions, avoiding each other's eyes like looking too long might force us to admit the truth. The air is thick, suffocating, filled with unspoken words that hang between us like a storm waiting to break. My skin feels too tight, my heart thudding so loud I'm sure they can hear it. I can still feel the ghost of their touches, the warmth that lingered just moments ago, now replaced by a chilling sense of dread. No one moves. No one speaks. It's like we're all frozen, trapped in the aftermath of a moment we can't take back. I'm the first to break the silence, my voice barely above a whisper, shaky and raw as it slips out. What did we just do? The words feel like they're torn from somewhere deep inside me, heavy with regret. Jake, to my left, pulls his arm away from where it had been resting near me, rubbing his face with both hands as if he can scrub away the reality. I don't know, Liv, he mutters, his voice rough, like he's just as lost as I am. Ryan, on my right, tries to force a laugh, but it comes out hollow, empty, like a cracked shell of his usual sarcasm. Guess we got carried away, he says, but there's no humor there, just a weak attempt to lighten a weight none of us can lift. Caleb, lying flat on his back, stares at the ceiling, his jaw tight, his usually vibrant energy replaced by a stillness that unnerves me. He doesn't say a word, but the tension in his face speaks volumes. Tyler, near the edge of the bed, curses under his breath, a sharp, bitter sound that cuts through the quiet. Damn it, he breathes, shaking his head like he's angry at himself, at all of us. Marcus, still at the foot of the bed, finally speaks, his voice low and steady, the calm in the storm. We can't undo it, but we need to figure out what's next. His words land like stones, grounding us, but also reminding us there's no easy way out of this. My thoughts are a chaotic mess, racing so fast I can barely keep up. Panic claws at my chest. What if Ethan finds out? The image of his trusting smile, the way he looks at me like I'm his whole world, it's a knife twisting in my gut. I've betrayed him in the worst way, shattered the life we've built together. Shame floods through me, hot and suffocating, as I realize how far I've fallen from the person I thought I was. I'm terrified of losing everything. My marriage, my home, the future I've dreamed of. My hands tremble as I pull the blanket over myself, feeling exposed in more ways than one, like the thin fabric is the only shield I have left against the rawness of this moment. I want to disappear, to rewind time and stop myself before I cross that line, but there's no going back. We start talking, our voices overlapping at first, a jumble of nerves and guilt spilling out all at once. It's messy, desperate, like we're all grasping for some kind of control. Slowly, though, the chaos settles into a grim discussion, each of us trying to make sense of the wreckage. Jake speaks up, his tone heavy with resolve. We never speak of this again. Not a word. Not to anyone. Ryan nods quickly, his usual sharpness dulled by unease. Yeah, and we act normal around Ethan, like nothing happened. We have to. Caleb finally breaks his silence, his voice quiet but strained. I feel sick about this man. I don't want to lose his friendship. He's family to me. Tyler's eyes narrow, his words carrying a bitter edge. Secrets like this? Here I am, sitting on the edge of the bed, the weight of our decision pressing down on me like a physical force. It's nearly 4 a.m., and the air in the house feels thick, suffocating, as if the walls themselves are closing in with the burden of what we've done. We've just finalized our pact, a silent agreement that binds us tighter than any words could. I look into each of their eyes. Jake's, usually so full of confidence, now shadowed with something heavy. Ryan's, darting away from mine as if he can't bear the reflection of his own guilt. Caleb's, wide and haunted, searching for some kind of absolution. Tyler's, hardened but flickering with unease, and Marcus's, steady yet carrying a quiet sorrow. In that moment, a vow passes between us, unspoken but unbreakable. We carry this secret to our graves. No one outside this room will ever know. The gravity of it hits me like a tidal wave, and I feel my chest tighten, my breath shallow, as the reality of what we've committed to truly sinks in. It's time for them to go. The silence breaks as they start to move, gathering their things with slow, deliberate motions, like they're delaying the inevitable. Jake grabs his toolbox from the corner of the room, the metal clinking softly as he hefts it over his shoulder, his face set in a grim line as he avoids looking at me. Ryan mumbles a goodbye under his breath, barely audible, his head down as he shuffles toward the door, unable to meet my gaze. Caleb steps closer for a moment, his hand reaching out to give me a quick, awkward pat on the shoulder. His usual warmth replaced by a stiffness that tells me he's just as shaken as I am. Tyler forces a smirk, trying to play it off like he's fine, but his pale complexion betrays him, the color drained from his usually lively face. Marcus is the last to move, lingering at the door, his tall frame filling the space as he turns back to me. "Call if you need to talk, Liv," he says softly, his voice steady but heavy with understanding. We both know I won't. I can't. Not about this. I nod anyway, a hollow gesture, and he gives me a small, sad look before stepping out. I follow them to the front door, my bare feet cold against the hardwood floor, and stand there in the doorway as they head to their cars. The night air bites at my skin, sharp and unforgiving, cutting through the thin shirt I'm wearing. I wrap my arms around myself, watching as their taillights flicker to life one by one, red eyes in the darkness. Their engines rumble softly, breaking the stillness of the suburban street, and then they're gone, disappearing around the corner, leaving me alone with the echo of their departure. The quiet that follows is deafening, heavier than it's ever been in this house. I step back inside, closing the door with a soft click that feels final, like I'm sealing myself into a prison of my own making. My back presses against the wood, and I slide down slowly until I'm sitting on the floor, my knees pulled up to my chest. That's when the tears come, hot and unstoppable, streaming down my face as I bury my head in my hands. I can't hold it back anymore. The dam I've built inside me cracks wide open and everything spills out. I hate myself. I hate what I've done, what I've allowed to happen. The memory of those moments upstairs, the tangled mess of emotions and choices, it burns in my mind like a brand I can't erase. I've betrayed Ethan in a way I never thought possible, shattered the trust that was the foundation of our life together. The thought of him coming home in just 2 days fills me with a bone-deep terror. What if he senses something's off? What if he looks into my eyes and sees the truth I'm so desperately trying to bury? I know him. He's perceptive in ways that scare me sometimes, always picking up on the smallest shifts in my mood. How am I supposed to hide this? How am I supposed to smile and kiss him and pretend? The next 2 days pass in a haze of raw, gnawing anxiety that I can't shake, no matter how hard I try. I'm a mess, trapped in my own head, replaying every moment of that night over and over until it feels like I'm drowning in it. My hands won't stop moving. I scrub the house from top to bottom, desperate to erase any lingering trace of what happened. I'm on my knees, scouring the hardwood floors until my knuckles are raw, wiping down every surface as if I can clean away the guilt that stained me deeper than any mark on this house. The bedding gets washed twice, the machine humming through the night as I stand there, staring at it, willing the water to wash away more than just fabric. I even drag the furniture back to its original spots, piece by heavy piece, my muscles aching as I shove the couch away from the window. I can't stand looking at the new layout. It's a reminder of them, of us, of everything I want to forget. Every corner of this house feels tainted now, like the walls themselves are whispering accusations. I avoid mirrors at all costs. I can't face myself, can't look into my own eyes without seeing the betrayal staring back. My reflection is a stranger, someone I don't recognize, someone I'm ashamed to be. When Ethan finally comes home, it's like a storm I've been bracing for hits all at once. I hear the key turn in the lock, and my heart stops, my stomach twisting into knots so tight I can barely breathe. I'm standing in the kitchen, gripping the edge of the counter for support, when he walks through the door, all smiles, his suitcase dragging behind him. He looks so happy to be back, his eyes lighting up the way they always do when he sees me. Before I can even process it, he's pulling me into a hug, his arms strong and warm around me, the familiar scent of his cologne filling my senses. He's talking a mile a minute about his trip, some big client meeting in New York, a funny story about a delayed flight, how much he missed me. His voice is so full of life, so full of love, and every word cuts deeper than the last. I force a smile, my lips trembling with the effort, while inside I'm screaming. My stomach churns violently, and I'm hyper-aware of every move I make, every word I say, terrified he'll notice something's off. I can barely meet his gaze, afraid he'll see right through me, straight to the ugly truth I'm hiding. I mumble something about being glad he's home, my voice sounding foreign to my own ears, brittle and thin. He asks about the house, noticing the furniture's back to how it was, and I stumble through a lie, saying I moved it all myself, that I just felt like changing things back. My words trip over each other, and I'm sure he'll catch the falsehood, but he just nods, chuckling about how stubborn I am to tackle it alone. I laugh too, but it's hollow, a sound that grates against my own nerves. When he comments on how tired I look, I latch onto another excuse, blaming it on work, saying I've been swamped with deadlines. He buys it, or at least he seems to, brushing a strand of hair from my face with a tenderness that makes my chest ache. I'm relieved he doesn't push, doesn't dig deeper, but that relief is laced with torment. Every second he's oblivious feels like a reprieve I don't deserve, a stolen moment before the inevitable collapse. I'm walking on eggshells, waiting for the moment he senses the shift in me, the distance I can't hide no matter how hard I try. A week later, there's a group hangout at a local diner, the kind of casual get-together we've done 100 times before. Jake, Ryan, Caleb, Marcus, Tyler, they're all there, and so are Ethan and I. On the surface, we're all acting overly casual, laughing a little too loud, passing around fries and making small talk about nothing important. But beneath the surface, there's a tension so thick it's... Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment if you enjoyed this story. This will help us create more engaging stories for you.